Welcome to Just a Thought with Amy Keys. We are here to inspire, educate, inform, and entertain. On today's episode, which we are speaking about friendship, I am so excited to welcome two of my very dear friends, Kelly Henderson and Karyn Whittington. So welcome to the show today, ladies.
Hi, thank you.
Happy to have my dear friends. They didn't hesitate when I asked them to come on this a few weeks ago. When I was putting together my list, there was zero hesitation. So that was an honor. But we're here today because friendship, especially for women, I feel is something that is a daily practice, obviously, but it is something that is not discussed much. There are so many kinds of friends in our lives. There are so many roles our friends play. You know, I don't know if y'all know the saying of not one person can fill 100% of your needs.
Yes, I've heard that.
And I love that because that is why God gives us the gifts of friends. Friends or family I choose. I don't know about you. I would definitely say they're family we choose.
100%.
But when we have so many different kinds of friends, it's just a neat topic to talk about. So I thought it'd be fun to start our discussion today on some popular friendship sayings and ways of thinking. One of them, which is my personal saying, is that you should have a U-shape of friends. Circles are a name, but I'm a big believer in U-shapes because a U-shape leaves your life open for others. And that has proven to be very powerful in my life. I like to see a U-shape. And we'll talk about different kinds of friend groups later because sometimes certain groups shouldn't be a U-shape. If you have a play date group with your youngest kids, parents, friends, and everybody, then that would not necessarily be somebody I would know and be in. So there are exceptions to that, but it's leaving room for others. And it's a visual that I think is good for us all to know in friendship, that a U-shape just leaves it open. And think of how many times you may have welcomed somebody to, like Kelly, you've invited a friend to book club. It was not closed. Karyn, you've invited me to our Bible study. It's not closed. So there are so many benefits for the one inviting and the person invited. I wanted to ask y'all about this is actually Proverbs 27:17, the sum total of who you hang around. So the whole iron sharpens iron is Proverbs 27:17. So we're looking at friendship as something that you are who you hang around. And I've raised my kids to know that you are who you hang around. People rub off on you real easily, right? So do you feel like that's something applicable to your daily friend circles?
I do.
U-shapes?
I feel like I like the U-shape analogy. I think that's really great because, as you know, you and I have known each other for a very long time, and we've had several seasons of friendships, and you and I have been pretty consistent through the friendship. But there's been other people who have come and gone for various reasons.
Right.
But the U-shape always allows people to come in, and the U-shape. That's how I got to know Karyn. I mean, through you. And if we didn't have that opening, then you would never let anybody else in. And why would you not want to? I don't know. I remember Grant used to say when he was little, the first rule of friendship is to be a friend.
Right.
And I mean, he was preschool and he learned that, I'm sure, from one of his teachers. And I just always remember his little voice saying that and thinking that is so applicable no matter what your age is. If you want to have a friend, you have to be a friend. So having that U-shape of allowing people into your friend groups, like you said, I invited someone to join us for book club. You've invited other people, to join us. And so we built this group it's separate from other groups that we're in. And some of them we're in together, some of them we're not in together, but they kind of can sometimes meld together. And I don't know. I like that a lot.
Well, I have to come back to you and I met when you painted that Proverbs scripture for me, the iron sharpens iron. I've always felt very strongly that is what we're called to as friends, is to lift each other up and sharpen each other. Devil's advocate when we need, hype the person when they need it, encourage, but to always speak truth. So
when you think about it, being a friend is a big job. because you play many roles for your friends. I mean, fun, humor, grief, happiness, victories, happy for your friends, sad when your friends are sad. There's so many different roles. Therapist. So, yeah, if Karyn, if we had not had Jamie, let's see, how did we meet? Jamie introduced us, and then no. Was it Jamie and
we
then
had
you?
in common, yes.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I had you paint that, gave
Right.
one to Steve, and then Steve, that's how Steve and Mandy kind of came in the picture too. So, yeah.
So that's like 5 people all together right there. And then you met Mandy through me, Kelly.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah.
Well, you know, with Mandy, I've met her. A couple of people tried to introduce me because when she was pregnant with Remy, knowing she was having a cleft baby, and I had a cleft baby. So most people don't know multiple people with cleft kids. So it was a way to connect. And so that's how we met, which is kind of fascinating when you think about how you meet people for different reasons.
Right.
And, you know, Amy and I met because our kids went to school together. She was our mentor. They were our mentor family.
I was your welcoming family.
You're
and
our
I was like,
welcoming.
oh, they have a son named Parker. And then I met Parker, and Parker was a girl. I just assumed Parker, it's one of those names that could go either way. And I just figured they paired up boys' parents. And then I think I met you and Brandon in McAllister's afterwards.
I love that.
It's so weird how we have these, or Brandon was there at least picking up sandwiches after I met him. But so what do y'all think about this saying about not expecting yourself from others? Does this favor you? Does it help you with your standards? Does it make you think twice? Like, Karyn and I have actually had these discussions before about how just because I get things done really quickly doesn't mean my friends should. Or just because I handle something one way really strong doesn't mean somebody else should that I'm friends with, and vice versa.
Yeah, I like that God puts people in my life that are not just like me.
Yeah.
I need that balance.
Yes.
I need to see the way other people handle things, and it's community. It wouldn't be community, I feel, as much if we were all just cookie cutter versions of each other.
It'd be so boring.
It would be so boring.
And I would never get a word in edgewise if everybody was like me, because everybody would talk so much.
Well, we struggle with that between me and you. That phrase, not expecting you out of other people, literally changed my life. And because I did expect people to act the way I thought they should act. And once I fully embraced that, to stop expecting me out of other people, it really did change my relationships with a lot of people, because we're not all the same. We can't do all things. We can't be all things. And because I don't do something the way that you do it or the way that you do it doesn't make my way wrong, or vice versa.
Right.
Because you don't do it the way I do it doesn't make your way wrong.
Right.
It's just we work with what we have. We are individual people for a reason, and I like that. Uniquely me. Yeah. And you're uniquely you, and you know, Amy's Amy. I mean, like, I don't want a bunch of me's.
I do think we find similarities.
Sure.
Right.
But
Right.
I think those help us bond, but then I'm always learning from my friends. Always.
Well, one of my favorite quotes, I believe it's Oprah Winfrey, was surround yourself by people who lift you higher. And although you can't expect someone to do that all the time because we all have our ups and downs, I do love that. And I think over the years, especially as I've gotten older, I think it keeps, I have high standards for myself as a friend and out of my friends. Like, we should have high standards of who we hang around, or you're going to hang around anybody. So I love that, though. Surround yourself by people who lift you higher. It's kind of like the song about the wind beneath my wings. And I love that, because you always need someone to lift you higher at some point in time.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And Kelly, you had just said about Grant saying about being a friend. And one of my other favorite quotes is, the best kind of vitamin for friendship is be one.
Yeah.
Be one. But, that does lead me to say it takes two to tango. And example, I tend to be a planner. Karyn, you are a planner. You're like an extraordinary amazing planner. You're really good at bringing people together and keeping groups organized. I mean, you're so well versed in all of that. And Kelly, not that you're not, I just have more experience with her leading different groups.
Sure.
I have more experience with you in other areas, but I tend to be a planner and I tend to be the instigator about getting together with a lot of my friends. Like, I tend to be the one to say, well, let's go do this and let's go do that. And I get so excited when someone asks me to do something because I feel like I'm usually and I think you're the same way, Karyn. Like, we're both like, you might not get excited like I do, but I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody asked us to dinner or to go. But it's just people forget. Like, I think naturally think when you have a friend that's a planner that they're just going to plan it all.
Well, and I think sometimes they think you want to plan it all.
Right.
And they're kind of almost hesitate to jump in.
Yes.
And sometimes someone will say to me, why don't we blah, blah, blah? And I'll say, okay. And they'll say, can you put it out there? Where I think you want to encourage people to feel like they can.
And when you're a naturally born leader and planner, people rely on you. And I see that as a compliment, but I get very excited when I'm asked to do something like a little kid.
I think that just kind of playing devil's advocate, which is, my official role.
I did introduce you as that.
I think that sometimes when you, to your point, you are a natural planner, you don't want to step on someone's toes. You don't want to offend that person and think that you're trying to take their, I'm going to call it a job in your friendship. It's not really a job, but you know what I mean? That's just kind of like we fall naturally into our roles of what they are. And you're a yes person. You like to say yes. You like to say yes. You come a long way from when I first met you of overextending yourself. Because I remember you say that to me. She's like, how do you say no so easily? And I'm like, because I just do. Like, I know what I can handle and what I can't. And you, to your credit, you have gotten a lot better at balancing what you accept.
Work in progress.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all a work in progress? And that's what I always say. You do this hard work on yourself. And I think as middle-aged women, we have all done a lot of work on ourselves, probably in the last decade or so. Because I think, when you're in your 20s, you're busy trying to like build your adulthood. And then, I mean, for us, in our 30s, we were raising families and, now we're empty nesters or almost empty nesters, pretty close.
Yeah.
And it's different, it's different. So you do have that more of the time, at least the bandwidth in your brain to think about yourself and your relationships and different things. And I think that's part of when you let someone always be the planner, always be the hostess, always be the thing, which you've had me at your house 8 million times. I've had you to mine probably 24.
Okay, are we going to get into the Kelly cleaning topic, or is that a whole nother? Is that a whole other episode?
Podcast.
Okay,
but it has more to do with like meeting people where they are.
Right, absolutely.
It stresses me out.
Where it doesn't stress me out,
and it doesn't stress
and
her out.
And friends should not keep tabs on who's done what more. Like I am not phased that I love to have you here. I'm not phased that you have had me over a few times because that's just not your thing. You also know how to do a spreadsheet and I don't. That's another podcast too, isn't it?
It is.
We do all have our strong suits, but yeah, I'm not a scorekeeper.
Yeah, I know you're not.
You can tell when people are.
Oh, lots of people are, and lots of people, and they don't even mean to be.
Yeah, they don't mean to be.
They don't mean to be. It's just something that they kind of just do mentally, I think. They don't mean to be like, oh, well, you know what? I've planned the last 7 things that we've done. Yeah. I'm not going to plan the next one. Then we just want to do it. And sometimes groups do fall apart because of that very thing.
Happen.
And then sometimes, people make assumptions. Oh, you're too busy. You can't do this. You can't go to lunch because you're too busy. Well, you don't know until you ask.
I firmly believe I'm a very busy person. And I've been told, actually, a friend texted me this morning who heard my Cat Sourdough podcast, didn't even know it existed, Googled something about sourdough and my podcast came up. And I was like, whoa. And she says, I know you're really busy, but could you meet me? And I'm never too busy. I'm never too busy for my friends. And we might not be able to go sit for a 2-hour lunch every time I see my friends, but I know we all assume we're busy, but and Karyn, you are really good about making time for people when you'll have been in a meeting for like 3 hours for things you do, or you have this and that, but you're always really intentional about making time for people, and it's noticeable.
Oh, well, that's sweet. It
It's
just
noticeable.
means a lot to me to spend time with people. And I really like quality one-on-one time with people. And I don't mind planning, but I like to be more just the admin. I don't want to be the lead. I don't have this desire to lead or do what I want to do. It's just, I kind of always felt like once I had kids, I didn't have an actual job outside of being a stay-at-home mom. And I felt like I can do, this is part of what I can do. But I love to know what other people want to do. Let's make it about them, not about me.
Yeah,
It's
I've
just
seen you
once
do it
you've got
over
the
and
text
over.
thread, it's just easy to say, well, hey, I'll kind of coordinate the time, but y'all kind of figure out what you want to do. Because I'm an introvert. I love people and I love my friends, but I'm not an entertainer. I'm not have to be out there and make it.
It's not about
fun
you
and
when you do it.
games.
It's not about you when you do. You're an excellent entertainer.
Well,
And when you are an excellent hostess and a warm, inviting person and friend. And so that is in all of your comings and goings with your friends. Like, it's felt and seen.
Oh.
And so,
well, I'm humbled that people want to be my friends.
I know, right?
It's such
Oh
a
my
blessing.
God, you want to put up with this? Wow. So, okay, there's different kinds of friends. And I am a visual learner, so I look at it like a gobstopper. You have your core, you have your outer rim, and then the periphery. And I look at it like this. Your core friends are those ride at dawn. You're 2 of them for me. The ride at dawn, whatever we got to do, we're going to do it.
We've got the bail money.
Right, yeah.
Let's go.
Like, we're not
where the
playing
honey's
around. No, I mean, I don't really have any deep, dark secrets, but know a lot about me and how I think and how I work. And you still even love me. And then there's the outer rim, which is like your social periphery, like your book club, like your Bible study. You might have really core friends in those, but it's more like a collective group of people who are like-minded, into the same thing. And then you have the periphery, which are common places, hobbies, or people who they know you and they consider you a friend and you consider them a friend, but like, you're not seeing them, you don't talk to them every day or every week. And they're all of these people, all these different gobstopper roles, as I call it, fit in your life for a reason. Surprisingly, I know I'm an extrovert, but I'm not a social butterfly. I love at least one weekend of the weekend to be calm on my couch, watching a movie, catching up on my day timer, and just calm. I do not love big events where I have superficial conversations, like that outer layer of gobstopper conversation where I'm talking about the weather, who's going to win that game, the same conversation 20 times, and, oh, I like your dress. I do not like that. I will go to those, but they're not my preference because I'm so like, I don't mean this as a compliment. I'm just saying I'm so blunt and real that superficial makes me uncomfortable. Do y'all ever feel that way?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I enjoy being with people when we're doing an activity, serving or doing, Master Garden or whatever it may be. I enjoy those, but I enjoy having a purpose. I'm not a party animal. Again, I'm an introvert. So I love people, but I love more of a meaningful conversation.
Yes, me too. I want to leave the conversation with not just, we talked about the weather and we mingled and people are looking over my shoulder for who's next. Although if you do look over my shoulder while I'm talking to you at an event, I might I might keep score on that because that's a pet peeve.
And I do think people move.
So easy to look over your shoulder.
Oh,
though, Amy.
hey, no height.
Hey, I am 4'11 3/4 inches. Yes, and
No
you're how
height
tall?
checks.
5'8".
You're my tall friend. Yeah.
And those roles change too. Sometimes someone might come from the outer layers, you call it, and move in, and then sometimes they shift around. But those core people, you cannot talk to them for 6 months sometimes and pick up right where you left off.
I love that when you just pick right back up. It's like nothing ever. Andrew's going to go to Colorado in a few weeks to see his old friends that lived over here, and they're like that too. They were at his brother's wedding, and it was like they'd never not been apart. And they moved 5 years ago, and they're young. So
I think that's important, though. I think that's the key. like the analogy of the Gobstopper. I wasn't quite sure where you were going with that when you said Gobstopper, but I do believe like there's some core friendships. Like just looking at my life, I'm definitely an extrovert.
No.
I know, shocking. I think Karyn says she's an introvert, but I think she's a lot like Jen. You're an extroverted introvert, meaning you can do the things. You do go out. You are kind of social. You have kind of a big calendar, but you also enjoy your alone time. Like you need that recharge time.
I need that recharge.
And
yep.
Amy and I talk about this a lot because we're extroverts. Like we're always out there all the time. But I'm the same way. I don't really love like big social events. I would much rather go to someone's house for a party or a shower or dinner or, if you get lucky to come to my house, because I'm going to have to clean for 4 days before and 4 days after. But that's a whole other thing.
But hold on. She says that, but her house is super clean.
But my house is clean all the time. I got to clean my clean house.
It's not like she's some messy person.
So it's a whole thing. We could do a whole other podcast on that.
Yeah, really.
And I do realize how insane it is, but I can't stop myself. Anyway, I think even knowing that I'm an extrovert, I have too much peopling too. Like there are times where like peopling is too much. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, I have peopled so much. So just to kind of give a little example, I started a new job in January. I started the end of January, the first weekend in February, flew to California and met 800 people.
Oh, wow.
I wish I was exaggerating, but I'm pretty sure I met 800 people. There were like 1,000 people there, and I met a lot of people, and I'd only been in the job for 8 days. So it was a lot. And at the time, because it was a sales meeting, and every time we had a little bit of a break, I would go up to the room. I would go up to my room just to be quiet. I'm a talker. There's a lot of small talk when you're meeting people.
Sometimes you just need some downtime.
But sometimes you just got to get away.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, and by the same token, I kind of like traveling alone for business because I am in a hotel room by myself. Like I don't get to be by myself very often.
Yeah.
I work at home. My husband works at home. My children are young adults, but they're in and out all the time. And so I love to be alone. I mean, but I am an extrovert, but I like that alone. I mean, I like being by myself.
Sure. So another point I wanted to bring up today is the joy. I have immense joy in seeing my friends become friends. That is one of the greatest gifts to me, to be able to see my friends become Facebook friends after they've been to my son's wedding or make connections like that, or just like in our little, I guess you call it bunco, even though we don't play, but it's a co-ed bunco group. And you got we pulled some of our friends together and they're all friends now.
Yeah. And it was fun because they would have never probably ever met.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is so satisfying to do that. It also tells me I've done something right when my friends like each other and they get along and they become friends.
Well, you kind of see there is even though our friends don't have to be just like us, you sort of find a commonality between people and that they're probably going to enjoy each other's company too.
Right. And when they do, it's like, oh yeah, I'm so proud.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to bring up social media and friendships because I feel like social media can sort of illuminate and maybe magnify the whole like FOMO concept, or they went to dinner without me. There's a lot of that. I am not a FOMO type of person. I can't be everywhere all the time with every group, friend. I can't. Nobody can. So I guess I don't get that way. Having said that, yes, I have felt left out before. I have felt like I've been maybe intentionally left out. I don't know. I mean, this is 20 years of social media, so it's not like this has happened this week or this is a smoke signal to anybody.
You're not throwing shade in
No,
it.
I'm not saying it to anybody personal. There's nothing there. But I do feel like people need to be cognizant of their social media footprint. And, I know that a lot of us will, hey, if we've had a gathering, and you're really good at this, Karyn, you'll be like, well, if there was a couple or somebody who wasn't wherever you were, you always try to really emphasize you missed who wasn't there. And I noticed that in you.
Oh, well, and if you think older than you two are, but we also didn't grow up being teenagers with social media or even in our young 20s or really even in our 30s.
Yep.
But I think maybe we might even be a little more cognizant of it than the younger generation. I really wonder. I cannot even imagine
I can't
the
either.
Snapchat and the friend gatherings, how a lot of harm probably does take place.
Well, I think it comes with time because to Amy's point, I'm not a FOMO kind of person. I'm never jealous of anyone or anything.
Never.
But I have had my feelings hurt.
Oh.
I mean, I have seen on Facebook that like 4 friends of mine were together, and like not only was I not there, I wasn't even invited, which is not necessarily a problem. But I mean, there have been times I'm like, huh.
What? And then you think, well, what did I do?
Yeah,
did I do something?
Did I make somebody mad? So I think social media definitely has, like, one of my favorite things about social media is how it reconnected me to people that maybe I knew in high school.
Absolutely.
And like, so I've really rebuilt some friendships, and it's outside of social media now that I probably wouldn't have had not social media, because some of these people don't live in this area anymore. I grew up in this area, but not everyone stays where they grew up.
Right.
So people who moved off to different places or settled, when their college town after, I probably wouldn't ever know anything about them if it weren't for social media. So, and by that token, I really do enjoy social media, but I definitely see a lot of the downfalls. And I think for like our children, especially like our age kids, right? Especially like our older kids. Well, your kids are pretty close in age, but like Amy and I's older kids, like we were kind of all of us were the first parents to ever have to parent in social media. And like, we didn't know we were doing either. And then we have these, middle schoolers and young teenagers trying to also navigate, well, I only got 12 likes, but
I can't even imagine that. I'm so glad we didn't have to.
I can't either. And
navigate that in that age group.
I've been very blessed in that respect, I think, a little here, because my boys both keep tight, close friend circles. They don't need they don't need that outer gobstopper at all. And my youngest especially does not care about social media. He has an Instagram, but he does not post on it. He simply does not care about it.
I really worry about the girls too. I think the guys maneuver it pretty well. I do think I think
it's a girl. I think, and then I think I was sitting here thinking that I was like, you have 2 boys, Amy has 2 boys, I have a boy and a girl, and I think, and she's come a long way with it, and she breaks up with social media every now and then. She'll take a break.
That's okay.
She'll
Good
delete
for her.
She'll delete the apps.
That shows maturity.
She'll delete the apps every so often, and for a while, and then she'll download them back or whatever. And I think that shows a lot. But we didn't really struggle with it, but I can see where this leads to a lot of problems in young adults. And there's a lot of bullying that happens on social media.
Yep.
And unfortunately, we didn't have to deal with that. But I know that it happens, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
We weren't trained as parents because we didn't go through it ourselves. So I'm sure coming up with the words of advice were hard, because it'd be so easy to say, just get rid of it.
Right.
And you can't really, that they can't do that, or what that's the position that's putting them in.
Right.
Bless you.
So this is the more deeper dive, not so easy part of this discussion is, what do you do when you have to walk away or you've had enough? Do you tolerate it? This is not a multiple this is not like multiple choice. I'm just giving hypotheticals, no multiple choice. Do you tolerate it and wait it out? Do you ride the wave? Do you confront the person? I mean, do you just leave? We have to hold ourselves to the same standard as others. You have to hold yourself like, that whole B1 thing. If you want to, the key to friendship, the best vitamin is B1, be a friend. But there are times that sometimes a friendship has passed its expiration date. Sometimes, I 100% know that you, as 2 people in the core of my Gobstopper, have had to ride a wave with me. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. Kelly's like, I could write a book about waves with Amy. But I know that because I'm not perfect.
And nor are we.
And nobody's perfect. I do notice a trend for me that I've said this in another podcast too about something, but I am a negative people repellent because I come from very optimistic, positive genetics. We are very positive people, and that is how I am. And I'm going to change. as best I can a situation to be more positive for you. And people who do not like that and want to stay where they are, they want to stay stuck, I guess, in a situation, they don't like me. And I can't change. I'm not going to change who I am for being positive. If me being positive makes somebody else leave, I'm okay with that. I don't necessarily like it, but you got to be okay with it. And it's also, I've noticed when I stand up for myself, because there's the whole, listen, friends, don't mistake. What do we say?
Don't mistake my kindness for weakness.
Thank you. So just because I'm nice doesn't mean I'm weak. And sometimes if you've pushed a friend to the point of they've got to stand up for themselves, it's just where it is. And people do not like it when I do that. Negative people, or people who are like, have not been good to me, I guess. Or maybe been like an alpha female friendship towards me. When I stand up or I'm like, I can't take this anymore. There's no wave to ride at that point.
So I think you have to look at the friendship kind of holistically and see what role that person is filling in your life, right? And then you kind of figure out, I think when you kind of dissect friendships and when you have any kind of friendship drama, you have to dissect the friendship and figure out where it's working and where it's not. Is it worth salvaging? Is it not? I think we all have some friends that we're still friends with that maybe we keep at arm's length.
Mm-hmm. You change the boundaries.
Yeah, you change the boundaries and you keep them at arm's length. And you want to be friends still, but you don't want them in your day-to-day. And you don't want to be in their day-to-day. And to your point, as you know, since we call each other Sunny and Pollyanna sometimes.
Yep.
I'm a very positive person as well. And a lot of people don't like that. They don't understand that. They think, someone told me one time that I was blindly optimistic. And I said, I would take that any day of the week.
Yeah, it's a compliment.
And I'm going to be me. I'm not going to stop being me because someone else didn't like the way I am. And especially if it's over something pretty benign or silly. Now, if I did something woefully wrong, that's a different conversation. But for the most part, most of my friendship breakups, if you call them that, have really been from the other side, like being a bully, basically.
Yeah, and then
being a bully, and I stood up for myself.
No more. Yeah,
I said, no, I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm through with this conversation. I don't want to have that. Not probably about 10 years ago, I had a pretty significant friend breakup, and then there was a collateral breakup as a part of it. Mm-hmm. There was some collateral damage, and I lost another friend in the fray. And it is what it is. It was hurtful at the time. And I was kind of devastated at the time, especially for the collateral damage friendship, not for the friendship that imploded, because it needed to implode. It really did. She wasn't a good friend to me ever. I was a good friend to her. She wasn't a good friend to me. And I made a lot of missteps in friendships. And Amy and I, we've had a few waves together.
Like maybe 2 in 19 years.
True. And again, look at if we had just packed up our marbles and went home the first time we had any kind of little bauble in our friendship, then we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
So, our friendship was worth fighting for.
Sure.
So speaking specifically about me and you, it wasn't worth walking away from. No. But yeah, I think you have to look at the friendship holistically and figure out where that person fits in your life. And boundaries. Good point, Karyn. Boundaries. You have to establish your boundaries. And I think that's something we all learned in our 40s and 50s, like how to establish them and enforce them.
And they change and your needs change. And I'm still figuring out. I'm not the friend that I need to be. I'm sure there's a lot that I need to be introspective and look at and forgive people, but not necessarily means that I need to continue in the same frame when maybe that friendship needs to move to a different category. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think we all go through those hurtful, and we can either put up boundaries or even walls if we don't want friends to come in. And I don't think I would want to do that. But I think I'm just learning in this last kind of third of my life that if I can't be a good friend to someone, it's probably for everybody's best that we just we can still be friends, but we don't have to be dear friends. And I heard a comedian not too long ago, and he was he's British and I love British humor. And he was saying, he was being interviewed about adult friendships. And he goes, yeah, because we all hate the same things. And I thought, that's not what I want in this season of life. I really just want to hang out with people that we love the same things.
Yeah.
And that kind of changed the whole topic. And I'm not a negative Nelly. And I really, it's emotionally draining to be in a negative conversation for too long. And, when you're younger, your kids are in school or you have a coach that doesn't seem fair or teachers that don't seem fair. When you're with maybe the outer core of friends, it's easy to go, and that's not fair, and that's not fair. But I'm in this season of life where I'm very blessed that I can choose most situations I'm in.
Yeah.
And I can choose who I spend and invest my time in.
Well, I would say when, you do have the hurtful or the endings or those kind of things, when I was sort of brainstorming this, I was thinking of like wisdom that I've gained over the years. And I was like, hold that text. Just don't send it. Don't send the text. Just hold. Think about it overnight. Talk it out. I'm never a mystery. I'm pretty blunt. So I don't mean to sound this like really weird here, but like people usually know where they stand with me. I'm not like some mystery. And if I do have a problem, I'll let you know. Like, I just don't feel like I need to be like elusive about it. You're my friends. You deserve to know. And, I think it's all normal that we stew on things. I mean, that's normal. If you drive down the road and you're still upset about something that happened 2 weeks ago because it flashes in your head, it's just because you're human.
And sometimes it has something to do with what's going on with you. Is it a wound from childhood? Is it,
True.
You didn't feel heard. You didn't feel recognized for something you did. You felt dismissed. I think sometimes my first thought is if I am a little offended, something's going on. What is that saying about me? I don't know. I always try to pray about it and say, God, what is this revealing about me? Am I struggling with jealousy? Because I think that's one of the worst things that can go on between women, whether we want to admit it or not. It may not be that I want to be that person,
Right?
But wow, her husband's job's going great. My husband's struggling. Her kid's doing great. My kid's struggling. And I think sometimes our nerves can get hit and we don't even realize what it is. And I'm big on knowing. I want to know why. I want to peel the onion because then that kind of helps me know what's going on in my heart. But if it's someone just being outright rude and different, that's a whole
and I
different
love
story.
that you said that because comparison is truly the thief of joy.
Oh, it is.
Like in friendship, especially.
And we know, and people put their best foot out there,
Yep.
and we never really know what's going on. And we want to be happy for our friends and success and cry with them in the hard times. And
I think too, when you're in a hard season with, I don't know, your kids, whatever it is, I think sometimes it's hard to like share that with even your closest friends, especially if you might be a little embarrassed about it.
Yeah, you always wait till like way later. And I'm like, why did you not tell me this before? Hello? You like drop a bombshell on me. And I'm like, what? I'm your friend. But that's your way where I'll tell you as soon as something happens.
Because I need to process it.
I was saying,
I got to process
it differently.
I need to process what's happening and what's going on. And I need to know what I'm talking about before I say it out loud.
Where I just need to get it out.
And you have to get it out. And you have to get it out. And that's what works best for you. And it's not that I'm like trying to hold on to it. Like, oh, you can't get in my wall. It's not that at all. It's I have to process it. And so a friend of mine just yesterday, she said that she was doing some work on some things that she thought she had let go. She thought she had forgiven some things but she said, I'm working on my resentment because I keep picking this stuff back up and I haven't truly put it down.
Hard.
So she related. She's like, I've got to truly give that to God.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to take care of me here. And he will take care of me, but for whatever reason, I keep holding on to it, and I've got to lay that down, and that's what I'm working on today. And that's what she said, and I thought that was pretty profound of her to say. I thought I let this go. And she didn't tell me what this was.
Right.
She just told me she thought she let something go, and she was working on resentment, trying to like really hone in on why she kept picking that feeling back up.
It's human, and you never know if it's something in your spirit that's protecting you or if it's just from a wound. You never really know. And I'm kind of the combination of both of you. I have to process it, and then I have to externally process it, and then I might loop a bit, and sometimes I come to, and then I have to give it up to God. And then I'm thinking I should have just started there. But sometimes when it's really emotionally on your heart, uh, you don't always start there.
Yeah, and
And
I
I want to
know
fix it myself, and I know I can't.
I know that's true about you because I know a pattern with you, which is not a bad pattern, but if I'm like checking on the status of something with you or just checking in, if you, and you know, you and I'll have like 10 microbursts of text right in a row, you don't answer that until you're ready. I've noticed that.
Interesting.
And I just know to just let it be, and you'll let me know the answer when you want. It's funny. Isn't that interesting? But, you know, on the friendships, you know, ending and type depressing part of this podcast, you know, I do believe there are the seasons of friendship are real. And so sometimes friendships expire organically. You're not on the same sports team anymore, and you don't see the people all the time. Those are your outer rim of your gobstopper. You don't have a problem with them, or your kids graduated and you just don't see them anymore.
I say that's when you really notice it, when you're become an empty nester.
Yes. Or, you know, also there's times where you start, or I have personally noticed when a friendship is one-sided, it's one way, and that's kind of my way to just not have maybe that person just doesn't like me. Maybe that person isn't interested in me anymore, or we just don't have the same goals in life. Maybe we're going different directions, but I think some of that is just, it's okay. That happens. It's not that you're not friends, and you'll see them at Trader Joe's and, hey, how are you doing? But it's different. It's just, you don't see them on the bleachers anymore, or your kids aren't friends anymore, or things like that. Not because the kids out of falling out, or maybe they did, but sometimes you just can't do it all. So Father Jolly at my church, he had an awesome social media post just very recently, and I took it. No, I love this. No longer give access because you cannot compromise. It is not about casting stones at others. It is literally protecting your heart and soul. If a relationship takes you away from prayer, joy, and obedience and gives negative thoughts and you're unhappy, it is time to move on. Better to lose friendship than your peace. I mean, is that not
I saw he posted that.
amazing?
And I think that's amazing.
I almost have chills because better to lose friendship than your peace. And I went through that in recent years with somebody who I thought I was being a good friend, trying to help that person and just say, hey, you know, you can do hard things. Listen, when my mom died, I needed people to tell me I could do hard things. And I appreciated my friends telling me that and walking that journey with me. Or when I've had other circumstances in my life, sometimes I need my friends to be hard on me. And I need y'all to be like, Amy, you're really out of bounds here with what you're thinking or whatever. You know, devil's advocate, right? I need those. And I don't find that they're friendship changing either. I need those. But again, don't expect yourself from others. And this person did not like my intentions. And I know where my intentions were. I know the conversation, where I was standing while I was on the phone call, all that stuff. And that person took it a completely different direction. But, you know, if everybody's looking out at the water and there's a bunch of ships, look, if that person wants to translate that every ship is red, in their mind, they're red. You cannot change it. And so that person was very angry with me for trying what I thought I had good intentions, and then got really unhappy with me and showed it. And I stood up for myself. Not going to take this anymore. I'm going to tell you how this is going to be. I did send a text saying you can't be like this. I stood up for myself. Fast forward way over a year, I went with what one of the priests at church had said, that, you know, obedience and humility and loving neighbor, that's all in the Bible. And if you can do those things in a situation like that, you have done your job. It takes humility to text someone a year and a half later after something like that and say, I'm praying for you. But I digress. It's okay, because I have peace with it all. And I know where my intentions were. And sometimes you just have to move on. Other times it's just, we're not on the same team anymore. We're not at the same school, or you just don't have the same interests. your different age groups do different things.
Well, I mean, sometimes people do. I mean, I have several friends who never got married, never had children. And it's not that we're not still friends, they're just not in my
Mhm.
everyday life. I
Mhm.
mean, because we went different directions. And, when you're in the thick of raising kids and a young family, that's everything. Like you're busy. You're very, very,
Yes.
very busy. And to your point, I always make time for people, but full-time job, 2 kids. I went to grad
That's
school
a
when my
lot.
kids were young. I mean, because I didn't have enough going on. Husband, home, lots of things, trying to stay active in our church and our kids' schools and all the things. It You do get to a point where sometimes your friendship doesn't align, and like you said, there's no falling out. It
Mhm.
organically, it just, I don't know that
Happens.
it just
Happens.
happens. It just happens. And like you
Not a
said,
big breakup. It just happens.
you
Yeah.
run into somebody and you talk to them, or maybe you go to dinner with them once a year, and it's
Yeah.
great, and you
Yeah.
really enjoy it, and you say every time you see them, we've got to get together more often. But year after year it's the same thing. Like you don't ever actually, and neither do they. And I think from their perspective, they think I'm so busy because I'm married and I have a family, but I can always go to dinner
Right.
or lunch or coffee, even though I don't
Right.
drink coffee. Like, but you can make time.
Right.
It's not that hard. And sometimes people are too always busy, 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 busy.
Another great little tidbit here. I love this nugget. It's from Father Jens at church. We must remember in good times the friends who walked us through the hard times. And that is something that is, more precious than gold, as they say.
Well, that's your core group. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I look at my core friends. I mean, one was holding my hand as my mom took her last
Mm-hmm.
breath. I mean, there's the people that another was with me as I'm watching my house in flames. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
those are the people that
Mm-hmm.
were there. It changed me
Mm-hmm.
just to see their
Mm-hmm.
love and that they were there for me. And I think, kind of going back to what you were speaking about earlier, I think it's important that we speak truth to people in love.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's hard. And like you said,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people don't hear it. And it can be hard to do.
Very,
It can be
very.
hard. And then sometimes when we do it, we're already put out and we're over it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not great at, I can be devil's advocate, but sometimes I have an issue with being a echo chamber to people. And sometimes I might hold back and not say sooner on, hey, can I just stop you? Can I just mention this? And that's kind of my goal, what I want to work on more as a friend. So it doesn't get to where your paths have just kind of completely separated, or sometimes everything that person says, you're like, oh my gosh, I need to, if I truly want to be, I don't need to waste anyone's time. If I truly want to be a friend, I really need to be more honest and pray. And we talk about this a lot, praying for our friends, especially when
Pray
we're
for your
in a
friends.
situation where sometimes we're worried about them. It's making friending be a little tricky, is praying for them.
I love that you brought that up, because when I was getting my hair done, I was telling my hair girl about some. Hey, Jennifer, I know you'll listen to this. That's my hair girl.
Hi, Jennifer.
Kelly's here too, and you do her hair. But I've gone to Jennifer for 8 or 9 years now. And so, when you have a relationship like that, they know things about you because you talk to them and you know things about them. And I remember talking to her about a friend I was worried about. It's neither of you. Y'all are good. No smoke signals to anybody, World Wide Web either. I'm just saying. And she looked at me, she goes, have you prayed for her? And I thought, gosh, I think I've worried more about her and noticed more lately than I have that. Y'all, I swear I started praying for her, and I've seen changes in her life from, she's a gobstopper. She's in that gobstopper. She's in the core. But like, I have seen her life having changes right before my eyes for the better. And I'm like, wow, I am so glad that Jennifer said, have you prayed for her?
Yeah.
Because it made me have a whole nother view of praying for my friends.
Sometimes if you're a fixer, you're frustrated that life is going a certain way, or that they're having struggles, or you just want to fix it. And all the words in the world to that person aren't going to change it, but God can. And I think it helps you understand that it's in His power. It's not in our power. Because,
Right.
I realize how powerless I am. I don't want to be the one to do all things and fix all things because I can't. I'm lying to myself if I even think that I have that much power.
Right.
It's so nice to give it all to him, whether it's in friendship, in my own life.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with that. I think like with friendships and being devil's advocate and some of that, sometimes in expiring friendships, all the things, sometimes when you give information to another friend, sometimes it comes across like you're trying to be an expert.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to use this example because we've all experienced this. We've all lost our mothers. Okay.
We have.
Until you lose your mother, you have no idea what that walk feels like.
Mm-hmm.
None whatsoever. And yes, you can be a great friend, but I promise you, Karyn and I were probably said a lot more right things to you than wrong things because we've already walked it when you lost your mom. Not that we were perfect, because I'm sure I wasn't. I'm sure I made a lot of missteps. But I think having walked it and knowing some of the, I hate this word, but I'm going to use it anyway, some of the triggers that I had from when I lost my mom, of some of the things that people said to me during that time frame, and they were trying to be helpful, and I just had to remember their intent was good. Intent was good. Intent was good. And so I had to like look in my heart, and because that's part of grief. I was very angry. I was very angry that this happened. And it's something that you have to like kind of look at totally. And so when you send the text of advice, you have to remind yourself that, okay, how are they going to read it? And you can't read someone else's mind, but you have to know that sometimes until you walk that walk, you're not an expert. You can't tell me about having a kindergartner until you've had a kindergartner.
Right.
Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't tell me when you have a preschooler what it's like to have a high school kid, because you don't know. You don't know until you get there.
Right.
But you can be a good sounding board and listening and helpful and constructive, but praying, to the whole point of my like little tirade there is, when you know someone means it, that they're praying for you, it means the world.
Yes, it does.
It means the world. And just last week, someone that I know, but they're kind of on the outer edge of my friendship group, told me that they've been praying for me.
Oh.
And I was like,
It's like,
wow.
wow.
And it was about church. It was about going to church. And I was talking about how we've been more consistent in going to church now that I don't have a retail job anymore, that was really messing up our church going. And she said, I've really been praying for that.
Oh.
And she meant it. And I know she meant it.
You remember when Nancy Mull did that for me? It was, I can tell you right now, it was May of 2024. I have it saved in my notes on my phone, her text.
It
out
does
of the blue.
mean so much when people do that.
I mean, I've been praying for you and your husband and your boys, and I've had you on my heart. Like I wasn't going through anything. She just thought about me. And I think it's amazing too. I try to be very intentional if I'm thinking of somebody to just tell them, tell my friends, because sometimes it's just when you need it. Okay. Switching gears a little, misconceptions about friendships, friend groups, and cliques. And my commentary on this is sometimes, well, I'm not a cliquey person. I was a friend in high school, and I'm sure some of them are going to listen and laugh, but I was really friends with everybody because I was kind of a big goofball in high school. Finally, I met my husband, and he made me grow up. Now, he didn't make me. His influence, I should say, made me grow up because he's just such a good yin and yang guy.
That's
for
debatable.
me. Well, I know. You do say I'm a what?
12-year-old boy.
Okay. Well, but anyway, I do feel like there are some times, like I said earlier, that some groups are just irrelevant. Like your preschool friend group or your Briarcrest group or different groups that you have in Le Passé, I'm irrelevant to those. Like, you're not going to invite me to that. Whereas same here, like, I mean, yes, anyone is welcome to our book club, but it's like, I can't invite the world, although I just did. But, like some groups are irrelevant to others. And so it's not always exclusivity. It's not always like, look at us, we're a clique. Sometimes it's just the way it's made. So I did want to throw that in to the mix as well, because it's important to recognize.
And unlike you two, I'm not from here. We moved from the age, I guess, between when I was 5 and 14, we moved 5 times from Florida to the East Coast to the Midwest to the Atlanta area. So I have to walk into circles that were already formed. And I was so grateful that people were so kind. And coming from Omaha, Nebraska to a suburb of Atlanta, I felt like a dumb hick, and which is not. The Midwestern people are the nicest people in the whole U.S., in my opinion. But I was so grateful, and I think that has kind of stuck with me to want to invite people. I wouldn't want to invite someone to something that I felt like they wouldn't enjoy, but you do want to keep those open. And
the U-shape, it all goes back to U-shape.
And to me, it's even God-shaped, because I just really, how he wants us to have community. He wants us to have friends. And Craig and I always joke, because I could not make any more new friends between now and when I die. I'm so content and I'm so happy. But there's the people out there that, as Craig, my husband, would say, are always taking applications. They're always
I love it.
looking
That's
for
so
new
Craig.
friends, looking for more. And I'm the opposite. I'd rather grow the friendships that I have. Now, if I am doing something that I love and I come across someone and we have a lot in common, definitely. But I'm not just out there, hey, come over, we're having a big party, because I want to grow that. And I have such a heart for friends becoming friends. I mean, sometimes I like to get people in a room and almost just step back and go, thank you, God. Thank you for bringing this wonderful group of friends together, because you want to see those friendships. And then it's also easier, because when you get together, you can have the same groups kind of intermingle. And a lot of my groups are intermingled, which that's just, I'm just thankful with the people. They want to be. That there's a common thread, I think, with most people that I'm friends with. I mean, I'm thankful for them, and they're believers, and they're just nice and fun people.
Well, that's a perfect segue, since you brought up Craig, discussing opposite sex friendships and couple friendships. And I mean, I've got two guy friends, one from high school, Gavin, and one from college, David. And I mean, Gavin's wife and I, Jennifer, we're really good friends. But probably because we both put up with Gavin. But these are just good guys who I've known for decades, who would literally do anything for me. And they're genuinely happy for me. Totally different kind of guys, but great friends that have blessed me forever. But then I have the whole couples friends. I mean, I'm friends with both of your husbands. I have seen both of your husbands rally for my family or do things for my family when we've needed it. And hopefully I've done that likewise for y'all. But they're like siblings to me. But I still don't see y'all as a package deal. But I have a very teasing relationship with both of your husbands. And I don't think Brandon can look at me without almost laughing, because he knows I'm probably going to say something unexpected, because you say I'm a 12-year-old boy. You've got that in his head. It's your fault.
Come on now. That is all you and him. I mean, we didn't know you very long at all when he photoshopped your car.
He did.
He photoshopped, when she used to drive a gray Honda Pilot, he photoshopped it. And this is, way before it was super easy to Photoshop. He photoshopped it and made it pink and put keys on the back window.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a whole thing.
It was impressive. It was a vibe. It was a vibe
in the church parking lot, because that's where we saw that's where we were.
Right.
And so that kind of built that foundation of the silly friendship that the two of you have. But it's also outside of me. I mean, he came over not too long ago for something and dropped something off or picked something up. I can't remember what, but the Boston butt. That's what
and
it was.
30 minutes later, he left because I was showing him my bluebirds on the bluebird feeder that Karyn gave me. It's kind of full circle there. But yeah, I think it's important to recognize those friendships too.
I think so.
Because they're the fellowship in them for the men. I don't think men get enough time with things in life and the way they are to really get into I don't think I'd have a guy on this. Sean would not want to be on this podcast about friendship, Yeah. I mean, guys they don't really think about this.
Well, and I don't think guys have the same need for the same level of friendship that women do. At least I can see that with my husband, with my son. I mean, they have friends, but it's not the same.
Right.
They're not. I mean, Brandon's most consistent friendship is a guy who lives in San Francisco and they text back and forth about Yankee baseball and Notre Dame football.
Mhm.
Like, so you always know there's a game going on because, Jason and Brandon are like, his phone's going off like they're analyzing the game, from their respective like
Right.
homes, right?
Right.
Because they can hear them at Yankee Stadium if they do it via text. He doesn't have that same like friendship group like I do. And I don't know. His friendships are different. They're just different than mine. And I think that has to do with like just male versus female. And I'm sure there are a lot of males that have a big friend group and do a lot of things. I just don't see it in my life the same way as I see it like for my daughter or for myself. And I've always had a lot of friends too.
I agree. I don't know that the need is there. And I think they're very comfortable with the friends they have. And Craig enjoys getting together with couples. And I think he knows they're kind of vetted if typically they're husbands of my friends, and he knows they're probably going to be nice people. So,
and also one thing too is before we get to closing remarks is friends of all ages. I really like at 53 having friends 10, 15 years younger than me and 10, 15 years older than me. I don't want to be like, I don't want to, there's so much to learn from friends who have more wisdom and experience than me. But then I love that several of my friends think of me as like a big sister, and I don't have a biological sister. So I love that when they tell me that, I'm like, oh, and Brittany was one of them, and she was Christopher's babysitter like 20 years ago. And I remember her when she was in high school. And now she's like 40, almost 40, maybe around there. So I do think there is so much value in not just gravitating towards everyone that's, graduated the same year you did in high school and all that stuff.
Absolutely. As your older friend, I appreciate you including me.
You are not old.
I am old.
You're not.
I know when we moved here, we moved into a neighborhood where quite a few people had moved there kind of as a retirement home. And most of my friends in that neighborhood were about 15 years older. And it was such a blessing. We were older starting our family, having kids. And I learned so much from them. And I'd say they're 10 to 15. And now I look back thinking, oh my gosh, I'm older than they were when I first met them. And I didn't view them as old, but I was so sweet that they were patient to come and hang out at a house with toddlers with crumbs on the floor. Even though, because right now I don't hang out with anybody with a toddler.
Yeah.
So I thank you all for being such sweet friends, because they really were.
I agree. I think it's great to have friends of kind of all ages for that very reason. I know like when you're in the throes of like a baby, or having a friend who has a 5-year-old and you have a baby is like, it's a lifeline because babies don't come with instruction manuals. And what works for your first child rarely works for your second. So having someone a little bit older, a little bit wiser, that's not related to you. Obviously we had our mothers and our grandmothers. Well, I still had my grandmother to ask those questions too, but someone that's like raising children just a few years ahead of you was like instrumental. And to your point, we had the sweetest neighbors that lived across the street from us. And she was from England, so she had a lovely accent. And she liked to be a little gossipy about the neighborhood. And because she was from England, she would say, I don't mean to be a nosy Parker, which is so funny because my daughter's name is Parker. And that's what made it even funnier when she said it. But when we moved there, we didn't have children, and we had Parker a year later. And so Miss Jackie would come over, God rest her soul. And she was just so good to my children. She got them advent calendars every single year until she passed, and she would bring them like little Easter goodies. She was kind of like their neighborhood grandmother.
And she's a different form of a friend.
A different form of a friend. And she was a great friend to us. She was a great friend to us. And we missed them. And so they were so great. And I think it's helpful. Like you said, I don't have any friends with toddlers either, but how fun would that be? Like how fun would that be to like have that? And I think I have more compassion. Like when I'm in church and I see kids that are, antsy because they are antsy. It makes me feel like, I guess a little more nostalgic, right? That I missed it. So I think having the age of friendships is huge.
Well, we're going into the rapid fire portion of the podcast, which people really seem to enjoy. And during rapid fire, just before our closing, you can answer together on your own. You can agree or disagree. They're just fun and they are not serious. Okay. So go for a walk or have a lunch date?
Walk. Lunch date.
That's true on Karyn about walk.
You can
Because I
solve.
walk with her every week.
That's where you solve all the world's problems.
We really do. It's 4 miles of problem solving. It's amazing. I highly recommend a standing date with a friend. And because of my schedule this week, we couldn't go. And I feel like my week isn't complete. Big group or small group for dinner?
Small.
Planner or spontaneous get together?
Both. Both.
Worker room of small conversations or small group of real talk?
Small group, real talk.
Small group, real talk.
Talk it over ASAP or agree to meet up later?
ASAP.
Depends.
I would say immediately.
I'm impatient, though.
So is she.
Get it. Let's get it out of the way. Let's get it over with. All that stuff.
I think sometimes when you answer too quickly, though,
Yes.
you say
True.
things you say things that you wouldn't say later.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
within 24 hours, how about
Okay,
that?
24 hours is
Yes.
solid. But I don't want to make y'all. I don't want to make my friends like mysteriously wonder what I've got going on. Or
Because that's too much time,
Yeah.
in my opinion, to loop
I'm going to loop
and
all day.
think, and then I'm going
Is
to
it
try
me?
to figure
Yes.
out, what did I do wrong? What
Right.
did they do wrong? Yes.
Right. And true or false? You are the common denominator of all of your friendships.
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You are the common denominator. If everybody's frustrated with you, it might be you, even if they're not all in the same group, or if there's some kind of pattern, and I don't care who you are, how great of a friend you are, how welcoming you are, whatever, you are the common denominator. I try to be the common denominator of welcoming friends and bringing them in to meet each other and all those things. But I know I'm common. I'm not perfect.
I just remember a pastor would say, if in your small group, there's that one person that's like that sandpaper person that's always difficult and you can't figure out who it is, it might be you.
Ooh, I like sandpaper person.
Yes.
That's a good.
There's a really good book about that.
Sandpaper person. Well, ladies, that brings me to a little challenge we're going to leave our guests with today. And I am going to challenge all of you listening and ourselves to invite a friend, no matter where they are on your Gobstopper, if they are your periphery, if they are friends, if they are your closest friends, to text or call them and invite them to coffee, lunch, walk, to pray together, go to dinner for a real connection. I would like an invitation if somebody would like to invite me to do any of these. But I think that would be a great little ripple effect of this podcast. We could talk for a lot longer about friendship. It's such a wonderful gift. I'm so blessed by my friends, you two included, of course, for being here. But everybody just maybe think about it, and just, even if it's, I'm thinking about you, to my friend that lives across the country, just text them and say, I'm thinking about you, or FaceTime them, or just go get the coffee or go do the things. And so that's homework. I've never given homework on a podcast before, but
I think, can I add to that?
Sure.
This past week, I called 2 different friends who I hadn't spoken to in a while. We had a few texts, and I said, I don't have a lot of time, but some is better than none.
absolutely.
And so both times, one time I was just getting ready in the morning, and I typically do, that's kind of my prayer time while I'm putting my makeup on and stuff. But that particular morning, put in an AirPod, and I called my friend and just had a 15-minute conversation while I put makeup on and did my hair or whatever. And then I was running an errand later, and I was going to be in the car for 20 minutes when I called another friend that friend I hadn't talked to in about 6 months since I started my new job, because she used to talk to me during the day. So I said, I don't have a lot of time, but some is better than none. And I was thinking about you, and I just wanted to say hello. She was thrilled that I made that one small little effort. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm a perfect friend, because I'm certainly not. But it was something that we think, oh, I don't have time to go to an hour lunch. I don't have time to go for a 4-mile walk. I don't want to walk 4 miles. Whatever the reason. But we do have time for a 10-minute phone call, a 15-minute coffee break. And it is okay to know on the front end, I don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to give you some of my time. I wanted to give you some of what I have.
Yes, I think that's wonderful. And I'd like to add one more thing too, is I guess when you know you're going to do a podcast about friendship, it really gets you thinking about friendships. And I was in a lot of thought and prayer this week over it. Just so much appreciation and thankfulness, and to let the friends know how much they've meant to you. Because my core is super small, but the few people that are in there, they have touched me deeply. And I really want them to know that. And I was able to have one or two conversations that really meant a lot of thanking people for what they've taught me. Because I'm a much better friend. I still have a long ways to go, but because of them and the friendship that they've shown me, the forgiveness they've shown me, the loveliness that they've just been, and the encouragement.
Absolutely. So friendship is a beautiful thing, and iron does sharpen iron. And I do think humility does play a big part of friendships. Obedience does too, and loving thy neighbor. Because, there is the saying, well, maybe you don't know this, but love those who are least lovable because they need it most. Boy, is that hard. It can be hard.
It can be very hard.
It can be very hard. But that's where humility, obedience, and loving thy neighbor comes in.
And I think some people take the love thy neighbor to mean literally your neighbor.
Yes.
But that means everybody. That means
correct.
Every human being on this planet is our neighbor. So that means loving everyone. And I think that a lot of people misconstrue that, and they take it very serious, very literally neighbor, like just the people in your community or communities. But it's literally every human being on the planet is your neighbor. And that's important.
And we talk about sandpaper people, but we have to know that sometimes we're that person in someone else's life too. I know that I am the farthest from perfect. And one of my favorite scriptures is, in humility, count others more significant than yourself. That's in Philippians. And that is,
I love it.
So it's so easy for us to think it's all about us, and it's not. And I go there, and I need to be reminded constantly that it's not about me.
Yeah. And I appreciate y'all so much for being here. Y'all mean the world to me. You're definitely in the core of my Gobstopper. And I would do anything for you. And I know that is likewise. I have homework. The homework for everybody is pray for your friends. I love that takeaway, is praying for your friends, and invite a friend to do something this week. Just something different. And everybody, you can find me on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Radio, Apple Radio, and unbeknownst to me, I'm on Audible now too. So you can listen to us on Audible. If you would like to be on the podcast, if you have any kind of cause, information, ministry, or just awesome topic like friendship, and you'd like to come on, or if you just want to be a famous superstar and have something to talk to me about, please contact me at amykeys@gmail.com. That is AMYKEYS podcast@gmail.com. So friends, love everybody, be kind, use humility, and pray for each other. Till next time.